This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Sit down!
Sit down. Can I tell?
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I tell a story?
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Yes. Go ahead. Tell a story.
It,
Is it story time now? Please tell me a story.
I should put on my cardigan sweater, right? Won't you be my neighbor?
No, you can get your homie the clown story time.
So, and maybe I shouldn't say. I'm sure I say a lot of things I shouldn't say.
Too
But-
late now. Go ahead.
I told you, Diane, I had an accident, right? Car accident. A couple of days ago.
So just as a disclaimer. I am your friend right now. I am not your agent. So go ahead with your story.
The views and expressions on the Eric Dawson Show does not reflect the true reality of the events that happened.
So I had an accident, and the gentleman was completely in the wrong. Completely in the wrong.
Now, who didn't know that?
And so I felt bad for him. Well, at first, after I hit him, because he literally drove his car right in front of my car, across 2 lanes of traffic. And then he got out of the car, really tough. I don't know if he's watching the show or if he knows, but anyway. So he got out tough, and so I kind of got out of the car, and I'm like, dude, look at where the cars ended up. Look at where you are. So I'm telling him, call the insurance company, call it whatever. He didn't want to call any of those people, so I did the appropriate thing, took his license plate number down, took all of his information from him just in case something jumped off later. But then after I got all the stuff, this young man who's like 27 years old became distraught and literally almost started crying. And was saying, that his car was messed up. He didn't know what he was going to do. How he was going to do whatever. And then, the parent, and he was 27 years old, black young man. And then the parent in me came out. And I felt bad for him. So then he goes, I want you to help me. I said, you want me to help you? I said, I need you to explain what that means. He said exactly what I said. Help me. I said, help you do what? So he goes,
What, call a tow truck?
no, he said, pay for this. Help me pay for this. So I said,
That's some hood mess there.
So I said, help you pay for it. I said, okay, so I just want to be clear. I said, how much do you think that I should help you? So then he goes, I don't know. I mean, I got to get it fixed. Look at my car. I said, no, I see your car. I said, but I also understand that you came across 2 lanes of traffic and you created this accident and so forth and so on. So again, it's the parent in me. And so I said, well, I just need you to, because I wanted him to hear himself say it. You know what I mean? Like, tell me what you mean. So he said, I think that you should pay half.
Wow. He is truly crazy.
Tripping?
That's not unreasonable to ask.
Oh, no. Oh, listen. Wait a minute. What the good book says, ask.
Ask and you shall receive. They didn't say who to ask. They just said ask.
It also didn't say ask, and no matter how incredibly illogical, stupid, and just jackassery it could be.
I don't think the good book said ask Eric. So, if it had said ask Eric, you'd have known the answer. Anyway.
So how did you resolve that? And how did y'all separate? What happened? What was the ending?
Well, I made some recommendations to him about how he could go about
like
getting
when he
his...
could kiss, Or
No,
where
no,
she
no,
could
no,
jump
oh,
off
no, no, no,
of?
no, 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 no. I didn't do any of that because and neither did I call the police or anything because at some point I figured that he probably
Yeah.
didn't have insurance, probably was riding dirty,
Probably got a
and
suspended license.
yeah, maybe all of that, right? And I didn't want, and maybe it was irresponsible of me, and I'll eat it, right? If you tell me it is, but in that moment, like him being distraught was genuine. Like you could see that, like that was probably the most expensive thing he owned, and probably his means of getting to work and being able to take care of whatever obligations he had. And so I didn't want to compound his troubles more by having the police come look at his identification and realize that he might have warrants or something, right? And then now all of a sudden he's locked up, or like I just didn't want to do that, and so I didn't. And then I went into the store that's right near there, and they said, yeah, we saw the accident, so forth, so on. And then I explained to them that I didn't, push to have the police come, and then I got chastised by the store owner. Well, what if he doesn't have a license? He could go and he can create. I said, you're right. I couldn't even argue. I said, you're right. I said, but I just couldn't in that moment, with all that's going on, I couldn't. I would not have been able to stand myself had the police come and had he been arrested for having something, some outstanding something or another. I just couldn't do it. So
here's the question. Was he a black kid?
He was.
If he was not black, would you have so?
Oh, I would have called the cops.
Oh my God.
Listen, Diane, I would have called the cops.
That's what
I didn't, but I'm telling you, when you understand all of the circumstances that are, and I'm not, look, like I said, I'll own it. You can call me whatever you want to call me, and I won't even try to defend against it. In that moment, though, I just felt compelled to give him a break. And sometimes black Americans need a break.
And that was also because you weren't injured, correct? Because
yeah, and my hoopty, my bumper, yeah, my bumper got a little dented, but it just added character to my car. It looked like I was off-roading.
I bet your alarm is not going off anymore.
Oh no, I found out that it's not the alarm. It's something in the it's the horn. So there's a short. Yeah, there's a short. So it's a horn. And so now I know how to stop it. I don't have to disconnect the battery. I just push the horn and then it just stops.
You mean your neighbors don't have to disconnect your battery?
I know. Did I tell you? Yeah. See, I don't.
No, it's like being in the 80s again. All those alarms going off in the middle of the night.
Turn the volume up a little bit.
Huh?
Turn your volume up a little bit.
Turn my volume up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, I hope the young man got his stuff taken care of. I hope he can get his car repaired. I hope he can do it. I even exchanged phone numbers with him because I wanted to keep in touch.
Was he able to drive off?
Yeah, he drove off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, accident, that's why you have insurance.
And that's why they call them accidents.
That's why they call them accidents, yeah.
That's perfectly done. But if you need insurance, feel free to call me at Diane L. Murray Insurance Agency, 908-686-4609.
See, that's my girl. I was wondering if she was ever going to get it. Diane, I was pitching you.
Every time. Insurance is in my blood.
She was already on it in the beginning, Eric. She says, I'm not your insurance agent. I'm your friend.
No. But I wanted her to pitch her insurance company.
Okay.
Diana Murray
Or you
Clements.
can hit me up on my website, dlminsurance.com.
And Diane, what kind of insurance do you offer?
I offer auto, home, life, which everyone needs, business insurance as well. So, and I have a great program, Dollar Day Insurance. So you can get auto insurance for $1 a day. No lie.
No lie.
It's good.
Bam.
Wait a minute, how does dollar a day insurance work?
Dollar Day Insurance works. You pay $185 up front, bringing your driver's license, your title to your car, or your vehicle registration.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be a Medicaid recipient. So you bring in your Medicaid card, and you are able to get insurance that day on the spot immediately.
Cool.
If I got like the car in my grandma's name, can I bring her Medicaid card and get that?
No. You can only be you can only license a car that is registered to yourself.
Hey, Diane.
So, that would be crazy. That would be me, Vincent, saying I'm going to get insurance on your Bentley. I can't do that because I have no ownership to your Bentley.
And just for the record, for all those who are listening, Vincent Squire no longer has a Bentley.
I want to see a picture of this Bentley, Vincent. I'm sure you got a picture. Show.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we'll work on that. That's one of the top 7 categories we work on. What does Vincent own? No, moving to that, Jeopardy.
Well,
Do 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 do
what
do
does
do
Vincent own?
do
Well,
do
because
do
Vincent is
do
in the process of emancipating his child. For the record, Vincent owns nothing, absolutely, totally nothing.
Well, that's absolutely mean to emancipate a child. You know, that's some crap. Y'all do that. Well, he says I don't have to be responsible. Y'all sound crazy.
Well,
Oh,
this
I know
child
what was
and
going
well,
on.
This child and his mother had
There we
conspired
go.
with the township to bring false charges of second-degree aggravated assault, causing me 2 years of aggravation, a loss of business, and not to mention all types of mental disorders that I'm having to deal with right now.
I realize that when people don't let go of stuff, it only bothers them because the other people have moved on with their life and they don't care.
Oh no, I'm letting go, but now I'm not giving them the opportunity to screw me again.
Interesting. So anyway, that'll be one of the categories. So if Alex Trebek of Jeopardy was replaced by a black person, who would best represent the brand?
Vincent Squire. No, Diane Murray, because she got that whip.
Jody said that. Yeah, Jody did say you, and that was knocked down. But of course, because I blocked you on my page, you can't see it.
Oh, I see you on my other pages. I got some AKA pages that I go on.
Now that's some BS right there.
It is. I'm lying.
So
20.
I said Brian Gumble.
Brian Gumble? Okay.
And I also said, who was the other person I said?
Brian Gumble is white acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah. Who? No, there was another person I said too.
You said Dr. Oh God, what was his name? Did you say?
No.
How about that guy that cried on CNN when Biden won? Van Jones.
Oh, Van Jones. Somebody said Van Jones.
No. Who's the guy I said who does the ancestry thing on the History Channel?
I'm gonna tell you. I just got.
Oh, Dr. Lewis Gates.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Lewis Gates would be fantastic as the Jeopardy host.
By the way, we got Dr. Lewis Gates scheduled for my show in December.
Nice.
There we go.
Another option.
So I'm gonna recommend him that he fill out an application for Jeopardy. Is that how it works, Diane? Do you fill an application out?
No.
Like, would that be a job that shows up with Deidre Viney?
Oh God,
No, producers actually do a short list. They narrow it down, and then they talk to the top 5 on their short list. And whoever gives the best negotiation in terms of price and tests high with likability with the American public gets the job.
Well, actually, Alex Trebek gave them a list of who he wants to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be off of that list. So another person said Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Brady,
No.
Byron Allen.
No.
Michelle Obama,
No.
No.
Sam Jackson,
No.
Anthony Anderson,
Hell no.
No.
Harold Anderson.
No.
That could, I like Harold Anderson. Is not a bad choice. I put him on the top 10.
Yvette Cornell.
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Why not Yvette Carn? Why?
Why not?
She doesn't have the personality.
Hey, I got one. Nikki Giovanni.
Donnie Simpson.
No.
No.
Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Hell, no.
Was that now? See,
Say Al Sharpton.
So
now
was that-
I put down Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, because I think he's very intelligent. Unless you're talking to him about a fiery subject, like a controversial topic, where he can become impassioned, he's actually quite calm and eloquent.
Yes, I can see him now. This white colonialist.
But see, you know what? Have you seen?
Raped people, stole their land, and then claimed it all in his name.
Have you seen Black Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live?
I sent you 3 clips.
Right.
No.
So you never saw Black Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live?
No.
Well, if you
Tom Hanks is a class.
yeah, so you could do Black Jeopardy with Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now that would be
That would be
hysterical.
good.
That Diane, that would be some TV watching. Black Jeopardy.
And get some corn-fed white girl up there.
Ooh, yeah, those ratings would be through the roof.
Sykes.
Who?
Wanda Sykes.
No,
Ooh, that would be entertaining.
no, that's kind of
Mark.
who?
Go ahead, Eric.
No, who else?
Dr. Mark Lamont Hill.
That would be good. He's intelligent and insightful.
He's intelligent and stuff, but I think that it goes beyond being intelligent and insightful, right? I think that Alec Trebek embodied a sense of calm and
Dry wit.
and well, yes, he had dry wit, but he also had a likability, right? And so some of these people that you're talking about, as bright as they are, they don't necessarily have that likability.
Okay, Michael Eric Dyson.
No, you know why? I told you last night, Diane, because it's just verbal masturbation with him. Hey, that's all it is. He
Somebody would get gratification.
tries to see, yeah. You can see him getting off at every 19-syllable word that he spews out of his mouth, right? Like it's like, so it would just be all about him.
All right.
Dyson, though.
Hill Harper.
But although he has increased my vocabulary.
Absolutely, I'm sure he has. You speak
Yeah.
just like him. Darren Martin says Hill Harper.
Possible.
I said Hill Harper too.
Possible.
Okay.
That's like spades, right? A possible, a maybe.
Okay.
But he's not quite a book.
Mark Duncan says LeVar Burton.
No.
No.
Because LeVar might slip into his Roots days on the show.
I can't stand you on Star Trek.
Say my name. What's your name? You got a good name. Boy, you got a good man, he gave you a good name. Say your name. Your name is Toby. He's like, Yo, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, because you know how I am. So, if you were getting beat like he was getting beaten,
Oh God, Eric.
would you have continued to say Kunta Kinte or would you have said Toby?
I don't know what I would have said. I'm just thanking God I wasn't in that situation.
I mean, because ultimately he said Toby, right? But it was after, yeah.
After he had no more skin left on his back.
Yeah. So, my thing is this. You know your name. Right? So, you want to call me that? Go ahead and call me that.
Oh God, stay focused.
All right, I'm sorry.
Harry Lennox. Not familiar.
No.
Okay, another one, Emmanuel Ocho.
Yes,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Okay. All right. Well.
Nueve Diaz. Ocho
Okay.
Nueve Diaz.
I guess I don't know. Whatever. So here's the short list of who Alex Trebek actually gave for his top candidates. Of course, Betty White.
Mm-hmm.
God, there.
Betty White.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't see it either. She's that's no.
Betty White's got to be like 6 months away from.
Death.
I was gonna say Alzheimer's, but damn.
She's kind of got one foot in the grave, the other foot on a banana.
Yeah.
And that's not to be mean, but she's like
She might need that one. She may need that day-by-day insurance policy you were talking about. You don't want to extend anything too long for that.
I live 5 days. I wonder if I get a refund.
But I think, you know what though? I got to tell you, Betty White is one of the funniest people I have ever seen. She's hilarious.
Yeah, good humor. Sure. Then we have Ken Jennings. So Ken Jennings was one of Jeopardy's winning contestants that won the most.
Oh, yes. Yeah, wait a minute, Diane, before you go further, can I ask you a question?
Oh, God, if you must. Go ahead.
Are all of the people that Alex Trebek nominated to replace him, are they all white?
I'm not going to tell you until I finish the list. That would just ruin it, now, wouldn't it?
Go ahead. Don't get me. Don't, Diane. See.
Okay, then you have George Stephanopoulos. I've always liked to say that name, Stephanopoulos. It reminds me of a Snuffle Up.
Like Snuffle Up. Wait a minute, can I see, I got to interrupt you again.
Go ahead.
When we were kids, well, maybe not you, Diane, because you're so much younger than me. You're so much younger than me. You're like, what, 30 years younger than me, Diane?
25.
25. I think you really are 25 years. Are you 25 years younger than me?
I am, for real, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Vincent.
So what you had your daughter when you were 6?
Mind your business.
So, wait a minute. Vincent, do you remember when we were kids, Snuffleupagus was not real?
That's right.
He was a fake.
Yeah,
No, he was real.
No, he wasn't.
Nobody saw him, and they thought that he was Big Bird's imagination.
Right. He was imaginary, and then it came out.
No, that's what I'm saying. He was imaginary.
No.
Yes.
No.
Somebody look it up. This is a Jeopardy question. This is Jeopardy question. Was Snuffleupagus imaginary? I'm telling you, Snuffleupagus was imaginary. Look it up.
Snuffleupagus was real.
Look it up.
Nobody saw him for about 8 years. And then, like a lot of the community, he came out.
Well, that's imaginary. And he didn't come out like that.
Well, maybe Snuffle. Wait, no. Seriously, look it up. I know. Right. But now
Today's Jeopardy question was: Mr. Snuffleupagus Big Bird's imaginary friend, or was he real?
Wait a minute. Is Snuffy? Wait a minute. Is Snuffy androgynous or is Snuffy male?
It doesn't matter.
No, you said he.
Because they did an episode with Mrs. Snuffleupagus.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, the Jeopardy question is: was Mr. Snuffleupagus imaginary or was he real when he was first introduced to Sesame Street?
Text in your response, everybody, to the Eric Dawson Show on Facebook.
So anyway, the next person is Laura Coates.
Snuffy was real. Mark says Snuffy was real. Only Big Bird saw him.
That is imaginary. Yep.
No, that just makes it nobody saw him.
Well, okay. Now you got to explain it. You got to explain that then. Now
I will ask the question again. Was Mr. Snuffleupagus real or imaginary when he was first introduced to Sesame Street.
I'm telling you, y'all look.
Okay.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Wait a minute. Wait
I,
a minute.
I bet the money. I bet half the money you're gonna get to get dude's car paid.
To give you half and give him half.
The winner is going to get one of those elegant photos that is sitting on the mantelpiece on a shelf behind Eric.
Oh wait a minute!
Those are really cute.
Can you see those? How clear is it? Who noticed that?
Clear enough for me to know who she is because I know her, but not clear enough for people.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This really isn't my den.
I can see it clearly.
Wait a minute. This really isn't my den, right? This is a green screen, but because I am the quintessential designer, whatever guy, I photoshopped me and Amina in one of the picture frames, and then the other picture is a picture of my family. It was me, and I'm the little. I don't know how you can see it. Mark knows that picture though, and Mark's not in that picture.
Are you the littlest one?
I'm the baby. Yeah.
Oh, that is such a cute picture.
Right?
I love that picture. So
And
tell us clockwise, starting with the tallest one in the middle. Who's who?
that's my cousin Rodney.
Uh-huh.
And then and then Robin is the girl, and then Keith. I think my cousin Keith is the other smaller one. I'm the baby, but Keith is the smaller one, right next to me.
And who's behind Keith?
There's somebody behind Keith.
Yeah, there's two babies, you and the baby, and there's three standing up.
Hold on, wait a minute, I gotta. I don't remember the picture. Wait, hold on. I'm blowing it up. No. Oh, I got you. So that's me, the baby, right? Next to me is Keith with the bow tie and the vest. Holding me is my oldest brother, Ali. And Rodney is the distinguished, taller young man in the back. Robin is my cousin who passed away. She's got the barrette in her hair, and then on the floor, sitting down, to your right is my cousin Farouk, and to your left is my brother Darren.
Nice. That's a cute picture. I like it.
Right? So I decided to put that in my imaginary den. Where everybody can see it.
Okay. So the next person is on the list, Laura Coates. She is a CNN analyst, possible candidate to replace Alex. She hasn't said anything recently as to whether it's true or not true. She just stated in a tweet, I'm profoundly saddened by the passing of Alex Trebek. When my own grandmother lost her battle with pancreatic cancer, the void she left was devastating and unimaginable. I pray his family will feel the love we all feel. Thinking of the mark this humble legend has left to.
Wait a minute. Vincent just put. What was the guy who played in the movie where he was Noah? Where he was Noah in Noah's Ark? You know, well, he really wasn't Noah, but anyway, and he played in The Office too. What's the guy's name? The guy who stars The Office and he does his happy dance. Right, I'm doing my happy dance because Vincent put it up. Go ahead, Vincent. Read what you put up. Go ahead, Vincent. Read it about Snuffy. Read it.
No, I would not, Eric. I wouldn't take a victory lap. You have to see my next post.
No, but wait a minute.
Inconclusive. Time magazine posted that 1971. Alonsius snuffleupagus was the woolly mammoth, better known as Snuffy, was an imaginary friend of Big Bird's for nearly 15 years. In one episode, Snuffy quietly joins a game of the following leaders, but none of the adults see him because he's in line and left before them. Now, let's go down to Wikipedia, which said for many years only Big Bird would see Snuffy because he would always leave while Big Bird went to get the others, leading everyone else to believe Snuffy was simply an imaginary friend. But after Sesame Street's presence followed the Big Bird finally succeeded in revealing Snuffy to his friends on Sesame Street. That episode aired November 15th, 1971.
So initially he was imaginary, and he first made his appearance to everyone in 1971.
No, originally he was real. It's just that he always disappeared when Big Bird went to get people to see him.
So now wait a minute. So now you have Wikipedia. So now you have Wikipedia saying he was real, and you have Time Magazine saying that he was Big Bird's imaginary friend, right? So
Bird's imaginary friend. What the hell do you guys read? Are you the same people who vote out there? You read and hear what you want to hear. It simply states that he was revealed for the first time. His first appearance was 1971. Before that, his post before that, Vincent specifically says he was an imaginary friend.
The prior post said that he was an imaginary friend. The Wikipedia post said that he was real.
Oh, God.
So it's still inconclusive.
Oh, God, it's not inconclusive. Whatever. Go back to the message of Jeopardy. Alex Foss. Alex Foss used to be the LA Kings announcer. Young white guy.
have you named the black person yet?
Yeah, the black person was Laura Coates from CNN.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Star of the Laura Coates Show.
Yeah.
So what you got to say, Eric?
Well, may Alec Trebek rest in peace. I enjoyed watching Jeopardy as a kid. You know, do you remember the 6 o'clock news?
Oh, God, yeah.
Right, and then Jeopardy would come on.
Yeah.
Right.
It still does. It still happens that way.
You don't have a 6 o'clock. Do you have 6 o'clock news?
Yeah, and then Jeopardy comes on at 7.
Oh.
And then Wheel of Fortune.
Every day.
Every day.
Who remembers the Wheel of Fortune? No, I got to ask you another question. These are since we're on Jeopardy, it's like all trivia stuff. Do you remember Wheel of Fortune used to be able to, like, you would amass your money, and then they had a segment where you would go shopping.
Yep.
And then you would buy these high priced things, and then you would have the rest of your money where you couldn't buy anything else, and then you would just have the rest of it in cash. Do you remember that?
Yeah, what you used to pay the taxes of those high-priced things.
But do you remember? And now it's just all cash. Well, it's cash and prizes, but it's different. But when they first started, it was you went shopping. You went on a shopping spree.
Okay, that was boring information, but
No, it's very useful information.
So here's another Jeopardy question.
Yep.
What made Alex Trebek shave his mustache?
What made him?
This is not in the form of a Jeopardy question, but what made him shave his mustache?
What made Alec Trebek shave his mustache? Don't look it up, Vincent.
I do not know.
What made him? Wait, give me a second. What made him shave his mustache? I'm gonna say that it was just the hair irritating his nostril during the show.
Why did you shave it?
That wasn't it. Oh.
No, I'm asking Vincent. Why did he do it?
Let's see. What made Alex Trebek shave his mustache? I have no idea.
You have to put Google in it.
You want me to Google it? I'll do that.
We should be playing the Jeopardy music while you Google it.
Well, go ahead and play it. What's stopping you?
No.
Go ahead, go.
Nope, I'm not gonna play it. We got a caller though. While he's looking it up, we're gonna take this caller. Caller, go.
What's up, guys? Darren here.
D. Martin, what's the word, man? Why did Alex Trebek shave his mustache, Darren?
He was allergic to facial hair. I don't know.
So damn it. No,
Really?
that's wrong.
That's wrong?
I'm sorry. You just lost all your money. So this is the double Jeopardy. What is it? The double.
Yeah, this is
the daily double.
the Daily Double.
The daily double, Vincent. Come on.
He said it constantly tickled his. The rough hairs constantly tickled his face.
3 I won.
His wife spoke, and his wife spoke to the audience afterwards. He said that if you don't like it, it can always grow back.
Yep.
I won.
Well, it tickled his face. See, I said his nostril. I was too specific.
By the way, he did later opt out for the mustache as well as those thick glasses he used to wear.
Oh man, yeah, he looked like he did look a little strange with those thick glasses and with the mustache. He had a mustache. He had a thick mustache too.
Okay, here's another trivia question.
Yep.
Where's Alex Trebek from?
Canada.
Everybody knew that one.
Well, everybody don't know that. Apparently, I didn't know that until yesterday.
Come on, give me another one.
I didn't know until yesterday. So what the hell?
But don't forget, Diane, you're so much younger than we are. The 3 of us are older age.
That's why y'all would know.
Well, in the 60s, they had a huge outbreak of Canadian game show hosts, including Alex Trebek and Monty Hall and the other guy from To Tell the Truth. He was part of that group.
What was the other show that there were 3 shows at one point that Alex Trebek was the game show host of, all at the same time. Who knows what those shows were? Anybody? I don't remember.
I remember what it was too.
I'm over there.
Oh, was it? Wait a minute. Wasn't one of them? Was one of them? It was the puzzle game. Do you remember when you revealed pieces of the puzzle and then you had to you had the picture show up behind the, so you would answer the question and it would reveal an image and then it would have like A plus Jack meant.
Yes, that show was called Concentration. He was also the host of To Tell the Truth.
Right.
The Wizard of Oz and Double Dare.
I loved Concentration. That's before your time, right, Diane?
Way before my time.
There was an episode of Concentration where there was a young man who actually won 3 cars.
Yeah, I remember that.
He won 3 cars on separate shows. Like, so he won the car, so he came back because he was the champion. He won a car the next show, and then he won a car the show after that. Do you guys remember the game show Press Your Luck?
Yes.
Oh, I love Press Your Luck.
Your luck.
Right? That was the one with the whammies, right?
I love whammy.
Yep.
Now, do you remember there was a guy, and they did a show about him. He watched the show and saw the algorithm of the lights.
Of the prizes. Yeah.
So then he applied to the show. He got on the show. You got to watch this. I don't know where you probably find it on YouTube. But he got on the show and he knew when to hit the button. Right, based on the patterns. He memorized all the patterns, and he knew when to hit the button, and he knew when to hit it to get more chances. Because remember, you could get more chances. Like, so when he got down to 1, he would wait and let it go through its cycle, and he hit it, and he'd get 5 more chances. And then the guys in the booth, they realized this by the end of the first show, and he lasted. Forgot how many shows he lasted, but raked up a ton of money, and there was nothing illegal that he did. He had just figured out the algorithm or the pattern of the lights.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's some trivia stuff. I'm sorry.
I know.
And Diane, you missed one. I think he would be a good replacement, Wayne Brady.
Now she said it.
No,
I
yeah.
said Wayne Brady, but I wouldn't vote for him.
But I think that was a unanimous no with this panel.
Well, the reason why he would be good is because you could bring a little humor into it, and he's
No, see.
I like that part of it.
I don't need no damn humor.
But right, but see, here's the question I want to ask, right? So Alex Trebek didn't really have humor, right? He was just very stoic.
He had a dry observational wit.
He had a dry observation.
That's why I want to break away from that.
Right,
No.
but why do we want to break away from it? Wait a minute. Did anybody who watched Jeopardy?
See, with his dry wit really enhance the intellectual prowess that it takes to win the game.
That's right.
That's old school. That's old school thing.
No.
That's old school.
What if it works? Don't break it. He has won 7 daytime Emmys as a host for that show. No, don't change it. It works.
He was quarterbacking the show, It's not like he's doing something exquisite. He's quarterbacking the show.
Right.
It's not like he was fried. So you want to get away from that friedness. That's old school thinking you guys are doing. Now, Diane, you sound like us. What in the world? It's so dead. It's so right.
Yeah, I'm just concerned.
And jobbing on Jeopardy.
Yeah, no.
You can go over to what's that, Family Feud.
Next thing you know, you're gonna have the Sandman out there dancing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, we're not gonna.
To get some of that Steve Harvey money. Yeah.
No. I think that Jeopardy needs. I love the fact that it wasn't for everybody.
That's right.
It wasn't for everybody. It was one of those.
Everybody.
I'm sorry.
Nothing to everybody. It's still going to be that effect of people that wouldn't like this or like that. You're still going to have that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess their objective and goal is to continue on with the integrity of Jeopardy and not lose its core audience while rebranding the show with a new host.
No.
Well, when did they, Diane? Did they say when they plan to make a decision?
They did not, because Alex Trebek is actually contracted to 2022, and he's recorded so many shows. When he was sick, we'll be still watching him for some time.
Isn't that creepy?
Is
that creepy?
Wow.
Why is it creepy? Most shows are recorded.
No, but like he's gone. But it's like a new show. But he's not there. I mean, he's there because he recorded it, pre-recorded it. But
Eric, my wife's a Gunsmoke fan, and I mean, she could watch it every minute of the day. And I said, honey, isn't it creepy that you're watching a show where every actor is dead? No.
yeah, I just
people like what they like.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I'm gonna miss Alex.
Yeah, so they're gonna do a actually the show is gonna air his final 35 episodes, so you have 35 more days of it up and through Christmas. Says the report, says their producer, and then after that they're going to. I'm assuming between that time they would have found someone or figured out what they're going to do. But you do know that he's never had a fill-in on his show while he was sick. They just show old shows.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We shall see.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Rest in peace, Alex.
Yeah.
Gave us.
He was a class act.
He would.
Like
he
that are very hard to replace.
Very hard to replace. No drama. Right? No scandals.
So he's not hard to replace. Everybody's replaceable.
No.
He's not that hard because they already got a list going. He's not that hard. They'll replace him. And you don't, and like Darren said, you don't want somebody to duplicate him, but you do want to continue the show. I would say continue the show in the same manner. But, every new host is going to bring their own personality, so we'll see.
Correct. It's like when my mother passed away at Thanksgiving dinner without her potato salad.
Again, why does everything go back to you, Vincent? So with that being said, And this is for the audience.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I say something?
Oh my God.
Oh.
You're going to get fined too, Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
So, I mean, because Vincent talked about food. And I was going to call you last night, Diane, because I made the, it was amazing. Mm-hmm. The salmon burgers, firstly, from Costco are incredible. They're like my go-to when I want something to eat fast, right? Because you cook them 4 minutes on each side, 5 minutes on each side, they're done. A little olive oil in the pan. But yesterday I had to caramelize some pineapple slices, right? So I caramelized these pineapple slices, and then I got hungry, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna make this salmon burger. But I already had a pan out, and I didn't want to dirty up another pan, and I didn't feel like washing the pan. So I looked at all of the stuff that was in the pan, right? The olive oil, the plant-based butter, the brown sugar, the pineapple juice's residue. So I just threw the burger in that. Cooked it, put a little barbecue sauce on it, Diane. Then I got more creative, and I threw that on top of a spinach salad, and then with all of the brown sugar, all of that stuff, right? So no dressing, just all of that. Then I put like some pecans and nuts and some feta cheese on there and some cranberries on there, and then a couple of caramelized pineapples, Diane.
So you just threw everything from the refrigerator on top of it?
Diane.
There you go.
It was amazing, though.
Eric to get the refrigerator meal.
Did you take a picture of it?
I did take a picture of it, but the picture
Oh, you should post it up for people to see. Put it up.
The picture doesn't do the taste justice, though. I could have taken it better.
My wife makes salmon burgers Friday, and here, if you're gonna use like the plant-based butter, put that in the pan. Mm-hmm. Chop up some fresh tarragon. Put that in with the butter. As it starts to sweat, then put your salmon burgers on there. Mm-hmm. Changes the whole dynamic.
Wow.
You know what? We're gonna start a game on this show, and the game is going to be, what is Vincent going to say? And every time he says it, we're going to drink. So between 10 and 12, I'm going to need you to get your bottle of wine, your shot glasses, whatever.
Diane, look, I'm double-fisted right now.
Hey, look, make sure you ain't driving.
Diane.
I'm not responsible for anybody's drinking habits.
Diane, do you look at the screen?
The thing that we're going to impose starting effective today is, and we want the guests to I see your cups, you crazy Eric.
I'm double-fisted.
I want the guests, the listeners, to chime in. So we've decided that, we being me, that we're going to fine you, Vincent, every time that you scream in a conversation that we're having, and it's going to cost you $1 every time. So I'm going to need.
Y'all be able to pay your mortgages for a year.
What'd you say?
Y'all be able to pay your mortgages for a year.
No, once it gets to a certain amount, we're just going to suspend you. And then you're going to have to pay your fine in order to come back. So,
jeez.
It starts
can I put $1,000 in advance? Let's go.
Oh, yeah, you could put your money in advance. That means we're suspending you.
No, here, I'll put up $1,000. So, and we'll start right now. And then I just got $999 credit.
And what, we have a ticker that just kind of ticks it down?
Absolutely.
That's pretty funny.
I'm going to need you to put the ticker up so everybody can see it every time. So back on the home front, the North Mayor, says that the spikes of the COVID-19 cases are due to parties, sports, and public transportation now.
So but what did I tell you? It's primarily in the East Ward, right? And I'm going to say this to you again, Mr. Ross J. Baraka, right? Ross. Why are you penalizing the people in the West Ward? If they're not spiking, that means they're doing something correct. Why penalize their business? Go after the ones in the East Ward and penalize them.
Because if you penalize one particular side, or this is just a theory, that people will just migrate to the other side.
No, I understand that, Vincent, but what I'm saying to you is this. Even if they did migrate, right, they couldn't migrate with the bad habits, because if the other side is socially distancing and making you wear a mask, right, then if you go, see, the problem with the East Ward is they have these super spreader events because they have these massive parties. One of my friends told me about one such party where there were more than 150 people there and nobody was wearing a mask. Well, okay, yeah, you're going to have a spike in coronavirus. But now, if that same person decides that they want to go and travel up to the West Ward, right, and not have a mask on, but the business owners in the West Ward are mandating that the people come in there wear masks, well, then guess what? You're less likely to be able to spread it because you now have a mask on. And if we're going to take your theory, then why not just shut it down completely? So you mean that they're not going to migrate during these periods of time? Of course they are. So shut it all the way down, or use some common sense and say, hey, listen, I'm going to reward those who are doing it right, and I'm going to be punitive to those who are doing it wrong. But for you to have a blanket thing that says, I'm going to punish everybody, it's just going to be damaging to an economy that can't stand it in Newark.
Okay, so Raz says that curfews and other drastic actions are necessary following the intense spread. He blames, of course, on these parties, sports events, and public transportation. He did a live stream on Wednesday and, quote, I have bad news for you people. We are back where we were, he said on his Facebook Live. Newark curfews in selected hot zones are 9 p.m. on weekdays and 10 p.m. on the weekends for roughly 135,000 people. They're living in 3 zip codes where COVID infection is high. In zip code 07104, everyone in it has been ordered inside homes after curfew. And the same thing applies to 07105. If you're out, you better be an essential worker or have an emergency. The other zip code is 07107.
I think those are all in the East Ward.
Okay. Police will enforce this first with warning, then summons. Quote, it definitely changes a lot the nightlife, and then again does it definitely changes nightlife, and then again does coronavirus only come out after 8 or 9 p.m. at
That's
night?
my point.
Coronavirus out all over the place, says one Newark resident, Julio Gonzalez. Another Newark resident says, I agree with the mayor because in order to stop the COVID spread, then we got to do what we got to do. And that was another resident, Kimberly Hyman.
But again, this is stupid because the other person is correct. So when is the curfew?
9 p.m.
Okay, so wait a minute. So up to 8:59 and 59 seconds, I could be out, and I could potentially spread it. But at 9 o'clock, this is ridiculous.
Also in Newark, all gatherings indoors and out must be no more than 10 people. Sports have been canceled for at least the next 2 weeks. While sports events are shut down, coaches, trainers, and players must get tested and cleared for play. Across the city, restaurants and bars must still close indoor dining.
Wait, Diane, can I pause you again?
Yes, sir.
So you're saying that sports have been suspended, but then you said, but they have to get tested.
They have to be tested and cleared to come back to play.
Oh, after the suspension is over.
What we're talking about is, Pop Warner is running in Newark. So that's where he's talking about. There's still these large gatherings, and I've seen them.
But now, do you remember when Will Hathaway, Big Will from Orange, called in and was talking about the Tornadoes of Orange playing football? And I said that all of those parents were foolish for having their children play. I said, how do you do this? How in the middle of a pandemic, where you got the parents on the sidelines with masks on, but they have their children tackling one another, big pile-ups, and no mask? How does that work?
Mask out in the field. Most coaches were not wearing masks because a lot of coaches have been told about not wearing masks out there as well. So that's why he's shutting down the sports events. Across the city, restaurants and bars must still close indoor dining at 8 p.m., 2 hours earlier than the statewide guidelines. Another resident said that maybe he's overreacting a little bit. We still have to go out here. People have to make their money, and we have to make a living.
Yes.
True, but if I could say this, he is overreacting because a great deal of people are underreacting and taking this thing very cavalier, and people are dying. I applaud him for taking efforts to actually
To do what?
curb it, but
But
I
how's
think, and this is just my opinion, maybe what he's trying to do is to avoid shutting down, which nobody wants, but yet nobody wants to take the other precautions to avoid that. They just want to complain about the restrictions that are on them.
yeah?
Okay.
We got a caller. We got a caller. Caller, go.
Oh no, she could have kept going. I want to hear this last part, and I want to add some flavor to it.
Okay, go ahead, Diane.
Go ahead, get the flavor on.
Okay, so lastly, December 1st, the city will study how well things are going before deciding whether or not to pull back or maintain the restrictions, Baraka said. That's it. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, I think Vincent hit it right on the head. He's trying to avoid a larger shutdown, and here's the problem, guys. Of course, we have COVID fatigue going on all over the country. No positivity rate is steadily climbing. It's higher than even what the state positivity rate is. So I think the mayor's right on this call. And then as far as the zip codes go, all of those are not East Ward, Eric. One of those is, I guess that would be the Central Ward at 107, but that's over by 7th Avenue. If there's concentrated areas in Newark where people are congregating and hanging out, and where they are having house parties, etc. So that's the reason for the time being very targeted, because he knows what time they're starting these parties, because people are calling and reporting. I mean, I know the number by heart now, 973-969-1122, the hotline to call. I know by heart now, because so many people are doing whatever they want to do. And then Diane is right about what she just read. The coaches on the field are not wearing masks with the game. The parents coming to the game are not wearing masks. People are being hard-headed. So I think the mayor's right on this call. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
See,
So, go ahead.
but see, on the other end, if he continues to let people do what they want to do, this virus breaks up. The first thing that people are going to say is, the mayor is not taking responsibility. So from his end, with this situation and dealing with it, he's damned if he do, damned if he don't.
Well,
And as we said, if we're going to make an error, why don't we err on the side of caution rather than err on the side of public wants and opinions?
no. So, I mean,
We're
so
going to be headed for another shutdown, guys.
well, that's what. So that's what I'm getting at. So if we know that we're heading for another shutdown, then just do that, right? Don't have the businesses in Newark die from 1,000 paper cuts, right? Because that's what's happening. So you
Just
decide.
give them just cut their head off.
Well, no, you're not going to cut their head off, right? But if you're gonna do it, do it. When I was a kid, my mother used to give me cod liver oil, right? I used to hold my nose, right, and just take it, because you knew if you sipped it, it was nasty, so you just gulp it down.
For a long time, yeah.
Yeah, just gulp it down. So,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at this, Darren, and I'm saying, well, if people want, like Vincent says, you can't legislate against stupid. So if people want to have gatherings, they'll just change the time of their gathering, right? So if you say to them,
Day party.
I'm sorry, Diane.
They'll do a day party.
They'll do a day party. They'll figure it out. If they want to get together, they're going to get together, right? And so you're just going to keep adjusting to their stupidity. I'm saying, then if you recognize that we are that it's inevitable that there's going to be a shutdown, just say, hey, listen, we're going to shut it down. We're going to bring these numbers down, and then we're going to open it back up. And everybody has to suffer for the foolishness of a few.
I think the best way to handle this to avoid a shutdown, because shutting down completely again affects the economic landscape of the community. But not only that, then you have other people that now that it's like it keeps going on. So you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your mortgage because you can't work. Because if you're in the food industry, you're barely getting hours now, because when they did open back up, they didn't open back up with full staff. So I think there has to be another way to do it. I think if he's already designated the zip codes that he states that there are issues, then the police should not be giving warnings for these parties. Every single person should get a fine.
Yep.
That's it. You start hitting them with fines. That's the one-time fine, and then you hit the business or the venue with a bigger fine. So everybody gets hit. So whether they pay it or not, that's on them. And the fine should all include a court appearance, because now just paying a ticket is one thing, but it's a mandatory court appearance. Because now once you all to be sitting up in court on video explaining why you thought having a party was more important than the safety of yourself and everybody else around you.
I agree. But I said that before. They need to bring a paddy wagon.
Preach on, sister. Preach on.
They need to bring a paddy wagon, and they need to lock everybody. Yes.
Well, we don't have time to be locking people up, because who got the time, the 2 hours to process each person? They be sitting outside forever trying to get processed.
Diane, but you know what though?
Up is also a super spreader event.
What is?
Yeah, a ticket and an appearance in court. That's it. Because the appearance is going to be a virtual appearance anyway. And let them explain. Get one judge. Let them explain. And every time they come to
lock
court,
them up.
That ticket, and
lock
they gotta
them up. Lock them up.
Yeah, but it costs us more money. Stop being ignorant.
They could give us so many tickets, Eric. He could give out so many fines and tickets that he could put Newark over the budget.
I'm thinking about it. Go back when last summer he started ticketing people for jaywalking downtown. Those people stopped.
I thought that was brilliant.
Lunchtime and did a super spread, three days worth. People were coming from the Prudential Center. People were coming from PSCNG, from Park Place, coming out for lunch, and those people were livid. They were all over Facebook. I just got a ticket for jaywalking. I was on Broad Street. I was on Market.
Yeah,
I was on Mulberry.
Well, that's what you get for being a dumbass.
Oh, I thought that was brilliant. Now I supported that. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
That's what I'm saying. You give them tickets, that stops it. See, what he's doing now is he's pacifying people, saying, oh, slapping them on the wrist again. Oh, don't do that, don't do it. Well, you've touched the radiator too many times. Now it's hot, and you're going to get hit in the pocket. And that's it.
Preach. She right.
To be done, because people don't understand stuff until you hit them in their pocket, until they have to have a mandatory court date. Are you kidding me? And then you don't show up for court, then you get locked up.
Okay.
She right.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And that would break that. Let me tell you, that would generate so much revenue.
That's what I said.
Immediately. And it would get people to thinking. It would make people that wouldn't normally do stuff be like, nah, I don't think I'm coming. They were stuff before they came out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He'd have so much revenue. He'd be giving y'all some tax credits.
He'd give himself a tax. He gives no money back to nobody. So here's the next hot topic. So President-elect Joe Biden is now tapped. His chief of staff is Ron Klein. I'm very Ron Klein, Klain. Mm-hmm. Ronald Klein. So Ronald Klein has been working with him for 2 decades already. So this is somebody he's familiar with. He also worked under the Obama Biden. Also, he was one of the coordinators for the Ebola response. A lot of people pushed back on him then, even though he didn't have any type of health or medical background. So they're marking him. And Vincent, I'm going to charge you if you don't mute your mouth.
You said yelling. You ain't saying. but the rule was yelling.
It's going to be double the fine if you interrupt people. So Klein was also a person that worked with Joe Biden with the crime bill, but he went to an extra, a little further. and created the extension of that called the Crime Bill Redux. And I'm not going to go into that yet because I'll let y'all go back and forth with this, and then I'll pull up to let you know what that is. So my thought is, why do we keep regurgitating these people from the past instead of moving forward with new people? And why do we think when these people get regurgitated that the system is going to change? It's just going to go back to what it is. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, because I told you, people feel comfortable. People want to feel comfortable. They don't necessarily want progress. They just want to feel comfortable. And so, having a familiar face, somebody who speaks kindly to them, being plugged back into the matrix is what people look forward to. And I posted that on my page where the guy said, plug me back in, make me somebody important, make me feel good. I know that this thing isn't real, but I want to believe that it is. And that's where most people are. And then, they hope to be able to just kind of live out their lives, without much, resistance after that.
That Vincent. Your time has passed. Go ahead.
No, politicians in new positions realize the magnitude and the gravity and the importance of their position. One of the things that makes it easier is the ability to have people that you work with that you can trust. And Klein has proven himself with the Ebola situation and helping putting that team together. Also, he was very instrumental in the economic recovery with the Obama-Biden administration. So, I mean, he's a good man. He's trusted, and that's one less thing that President-elect Biden will have to worry about. And which, the less that, the more that people take off his plate, the more work that we can get done, and the closer we can get to building us back.
So he's good for who? Good for the people? Good for white people, black people? Good for who?
I think he's good for people in general, because I don't know or haven't investigated into him that much to say if he sways more towards white, black, or indifferent. But in terms of the work that he's done, it's all been proven to be good for the people and good for the administration. If he's good for the people and doing a good job, then that's good for the administration and its approval rating, which makes it even better to go after these tougher bills that they're going to face.
Darren?
I think we should have got somebody new. Point blank, period. Somebody different, a new face. I'm tired of the same old crackers. Not crackers meaning white people, like tasting the same crackers. That's what I mean by that. I want to clarify that. Because it presents nothing new going forward when you keep dealing with the same people. So I would rather somebody new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Darren. I think continuing to pull people from one administration to the next administration just because they have experience of working in the White House is not useful for the people, because all it is doing is repeating what you've done before. So now we just rotated you somewhere else, and here you are. So Klein was working with Biden in regards to the crime bill. And right before the 1994 crime bill, just so people know, right before around the time of the Oklahoma bombings, they created another bill to be attached to that, because what they thought was going to happen was they were trying to, what they said, eliminate terrorism and all of that, but they were actually putting changes against the habeas corpus part of the crime bill, making it very difficult, eliminating the possibility of people who have been charged with crimes to be able to defend themselves. So I don't think that he is going to be perfect for anybody in the community. You got him, you got Biden, and you got Kamala Harris, a prosecutor, the writers of the crime bill, and an extension of the crime bill. It's not going to look good for black people.
I agree with some of your points. I think that the administration should bring in some fresh faces, but also, I think that, and one of the things about bringing in the same old cracker is the simple fact that they could bring in the same old mediocrity. But I don't think this guy is a mediocre type of guy, and this is not like a pat on the back cushion, thanks for being my political supporter position. I think that, this job takes some experience, and he brings that. And I mean, if they could find, I would love to see them, put somebody in like, Rice or Abrams or, to take on that, second, that underboss position. But, I mean, for the most part, I'm okay with his choice.
Yeah, I'm with Darren. I think that you need fresh faces, you need fresh ideas, you need, Listen, I think that these kinds of I just think that you need fresh faces. I think I think that though he didn't do it, what resonated with people when Donald Trump ran in 2016 was that he was going to drain the swamp. Right. And so now what seems to be happening is that they're piling all the dead fish back into the swamp.
Donald Trump didn't drain the swamp.
No, I just said that.
The only thing Donald Trump did was put in more alligators.
No.
Gave them pardons.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is that his message of draining the swamp is what resonated. His message.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that right now we're getting the status quo. Right, we're getting the same old, and that's not what people wanted.
Right, and even though Vincent, you're right. You and Eric both are right. He didn't drain the swamp. This was a good talking point, which politicians, all these people come up with, and it sounds good. But because Biden's old, you want to see that he's going to be bringing in some new young, especially young talent. And even if some growing pains have to happen, they don't have experience with that. Molding them because everybody's going to be watching very closely. See, what Biden has to be very careful with at this juncture is who he brings in into his administration. Why? Because 2 years from now, as Eric eloquently said a few days ago, we'll have the midterm election. And there'll be a mandate on Biden's head, the Biden-Harris administration head. What did you do different to break away from the old stuff? Now, don't get me wrong. Bringing in Harris as his choice for VP, that is a breakaway because you got somebody younger that they'll be able to take over. God forbid something happens to him. But the people they surround themselves with over this period of time is going to be very, very interesting. And that's why I'm looking at, I know what's his name, Sanders is trying to get Secretary of Labor position. I like Sanders. I think he has some great ideas, and I think he could do a lot of things with labor. Now, I think people are going to be afraid because he's progressive, but I love his progressive. No different than the squad, as we call them, the 4 young ladies who's doing a great job. I think people are trying to, their agenda also has to be spoken to in this Biden-Harris administration. And I'd be shocked if those 4 young ladies didn't agree to push Biden-Harris without having something that's going to come their way in terms of their agenda. Because those are sharp, 4 sharp young ladies.
Oh, wait a minute. So, Darren, are you suggesting that unlike Clyburn, who said for his support of Biden owed him nothing, are you suggesting that these 4 young ladies definitely are requiring something of him?
Oh yeah. I don't believe that they would have campaigned for him or did the things they was doing without. But what I'm hearing from some of my political buddies in Washington is he was told, Biden was told, regardless of who you pick as your VP, and this will be before you pick the VP pick, etc. Whatever is going to happen, before you file the decision anyway. Before anything happens, if you want to get the Progressive Party part of the wing on board, we're going to need them. You will need to sit down with them. So I know there is no way, I'm telling y'all right now, and there's no way in the world Biden and Harris is going to do anything without that progressive wing. Some part of their agenda is going to be part of this administration.
Well, look, I had a conversation this morning about, we talked about it on the show. I really believe that the Biden is going to have some challenges doing anything that he laid forward in his plan. And I think that it is going to create such an opportunity for Republicans over the next 2 years, right, leading up to the midterm elections, and then the year after as they start gearing up for 2024, to dog him and Kamala about what they didn't do, what they weren't able to accomplish. And I believe that in that same period of time, whether it's Donald Trump, who says he's going to, there are rumors that he's going to run in 2024.
I heard about that, yeah.
Right.
Well, let's look at this. Of course, he's going to have challenges. But if I can get back to what Darren said.
Roll your window up, Vincent.
As a young VP,
Vincent, roll your car window up. Yeah. Sound like you're in the car. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as Darren said, having Kamala is a plus. Young, fresh idea.
Kamala.
Add to that, if he carries on the same precedence that he had with Obama, where Obama had Biden in the room at every turn, and that could work very well. And yes, he's going to have challenges because right now, I mean, we're talking about a 5 million vote difference between Trump and Biden. So that ideology and the Republicans are still going to push that messaging. They're going to look at maximizing the little things that he do that people don't like and minimize the maximum things that he does. But that's also a part of messaging which can be countered. The objective right now, and yes, it was a great uniter in getting the progressive movement in his cabinet. Because you look at it, the progressives and the young people in the Progressive Party have been the motivation and the drive behind his entire campaign. So yeah, he's going to have obstacles. But I believe that in terms of his planning and his big picture strategy, that tackling the virus and bringing back the economy, once those are accomplished, those naysayers, those trumpeters, that Trumpism that they're looking to run for 2022 and 2024 on, that's going to be very silent. And the majority of the American people aren't going to fuss against things that are keeping them healthy and keeping money in their pocket.
It's going to be interesting. I agree with Eric and Vince. There'll be some stumbling blocks, which is a normal situation. I think that the problem the Republicans are going to have is part of the problem they're having right now. They haven't put their big boy pants on and come out and say Biden has won. This is over. I think it puts the country at risk, and I think they're going to lose a lot of support because they're waiting to see what Trump is going to do as opposed to being real leaders.
Wait a minute, lose a lot of support where? But wait a minute, Darren.
They continue to fight Harris and Biden on every level. Let's say, although I wouldn't count my sister out in Georgia, Abrams, because she's running a serious campaign. I think she's going to make these runoffs close. But if that doesn't happen and McConnell continues to be the block on every single thing that comes out, that's going to hurt the Republicans. It's not going to hurt the Democrats.
Why do you think it's going to hurt the Republicans, though?
The Republicans is the simple fact of this. Trump ran based on waving that American flag and saying that I am the American, I'm going to make changes for the Americans, and he hasn't. And now he's faced with Trumpism versus the American Democratic Republic Party. He's taking
Guys.
our whole democracy now and
Guys.
saying, F y'all, I'm Trump.
But
I'm
wait a
bigger than
minute.
this."
No, you
And-
can't, you cannot ignore the fact that 70, in spite of everything that you said, more than 71 million people voted for him. And all the failures that you want to talk about, all of the misogyny, all of the xenophobia, all of the lies, all of the whatever you want to say, 71 plus million people voted for him.
Yes, but you also have to look at 76 plus million people voted against him.
I'm not suggesting they didn't, but I'm gonna say to you that I don't know that you're gonna. I don't think that you're gonna have those people off ramped. And when you say, Darren, that these guys and women in the Republican Party, if they don't come out and announce Biden as being the victor, that it's going to hurt them. There was this thought that there was going to be this massive blue wave, right? Because these people were hanging on to Trump and at every turn, and it didn't. They weren't penalized. They won some seats in the House. Right? It looks like they may very well hold on to the Senate. Where was the catastrophic loss or damage because they aligned themselves with Donald Trump?
Okay, well, we're looking at the wins and gains of the lack of the blue wave. Now, you have to look at two things. First of all, Republicans are still holding on to Trumpism because they want to be the new leader of that 70 million people. Although they do know that Trump's out, they cannot officially or publicly say to them get out because they want to hold on to that base. Then you also have to look at the fault of the blue wave was one of the things that we all agree on. Bringing in the youth and the progressive also decreased the likability for that blue wave. So they've lost some, they've won some. Now, there's a runoff in Georgia in which now the Trumpism is in full effect and getting people out to vote. But you also have to look at that, the majority now is facing removing those people because there's the big fight against Trumpism. Now, with doing that and those two senators being replaced, we have the House, we have the Senate. So America would now watch and see what they do. That's the goal.
Vince,
Yes?
go ahead. I don't know if I can totally agree. I can partially agree. However, what people are not paying attention to is the people that voted for Biden were people who were voting against Trump. They weren't necessarily voting against the Republican Party. That's
right.
why on the lower level, there are still fights going on, and we lost some seats in the House because they didn't change their ideology about being a Republican and didn't say I'm voting Democrat all the way down. They didn't do that. They only voted against Trump. So there's some misconception that there's something with the Democratic Party that we've won. All these people in the support, it's not there. It's a false sense of support.
Yes, I agree with that. That was part of what I was saying. I'm glad you got that, gave it more detail. And that's the whole thing that they have to work with. The whole thing now is that they have to now put in a new mindset against the Trumpism, where it was all brash and polished, but there was nothing fundamentally to help a majority of the people. And we know how badly people tend to vote against their interests. So it's changing that mindset to see the benefits of them bringing in these new people, bringing in these fresh faces, as we talked about earlier, bringing in some new ideologies to progress and move our country forward.
Well, I don't know. How do you move people forward if you still keep dragging the same people with you? I mean, even if you look at if you keep bringing in, so we get a new mayor, and I'm just going to talk about Hillside. You would get a new mayor, but you go back and you pull back all the dead people from 2 elections ago that was reigning under somebody else to work in the administration That's not changing things. That's making things
Right.
the same in a different time period. That's all.
Agreed. Agreed. But you bring the people who have the experience, that are competent and capable. You do not bring people in who are mediocre and who are just there for a job.
Okay,
So-
we'll see. So right
So-
now, Biden is talking about his 100-day plan, and people need to be more familiar with what's going to go on with this plan. And one of the things that he said why he selected this particular chief of staff is because of his experience, as Vincent would say, from the past of working with him for 20 years while he was elected, to state that he's going to assemble this COVID-19 task force under his presidential transition team. So a part of the task force is going to be led by Dr. David Kessler, who is the former FDA administrator and commissioner, the former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, and
Yes.
Dr. Marcella Nunes-Smith, an associate professor of medicine and epidemiology at the School of Yale. Biden states, and he quotes, the advisory board will help shape my approach to managing the surge in reported infections, ensuring vaccinations are safe, effective, and distributed effectively, equitably, and free, protecting at-risk populations. The problem that I have with that is the sound bites again. You always talk about what you're going to do, but you're never really definitive about who are these at-risk populations that you're talking about. Are you talking about the white people in the senior homes, or are you talking about the black people that have poor health care? Like, for these people, who is it going to be free to, and how is it going to be free? Does this mean that the insurance companies are going to take the hit for the payments of this, and they're not going to charge? Is the government going to pay for this, and then the residents get hit later for this? Like, how is it going to be free? Where is that going to come from? He also is talking about in the COVID-19 a push for the immediate coronavirus legislation. As part of the initiative, he has promised to work on new coronavirus aid package before officially actually taking office, vowing to coordinate with the state governors, the mayors, and the local politicians. In quote, he says, I'll ask the new Congress to put a bill on my desk by the end of January with all of the resources to see how both our public health and economic response can be seen through the end.
Well, that answers your question on who's going to pay for it.
Okay. He says that the COVID-19 relief package has in past called for at least $10,000 in student loan debt to be canceled by Americans. His proposed COVID-19 release plan calls for expanding coronavirus testing and resources, as well as increasing the country's capacity to make personal protective equipment by leveraging the Defense Production Act. He has also backed legislation that would create a racial and ethnic disparities tax, which President Kamala Harris has proposed in the Senate in the spring. So again,
and that takes care of the at-risk. Who's at risk?
Okay, so the release of the vaccine distribution plan covers an effective distribution plan where a potential vaccine, now COVID-19 vaccine on the first day of presidency. So now let's go back here. We heard from Dr. Fauci that it takes 2 to 4 years, if not longer, to create a vaccine. Anytime, regardless of what's going on. How is it now that as soon as you take the presidency, there's going to be a vaccine on the market and ready to go?
Because there's a vaccine that has a 90% safe effective rate and a 75% safety ratio, which exceeds the requirements for emergency procedures. And the logistics will be handled by the United States Army.
So let me ask you a question. Wait. Does Donald Trump get credit for this? Does Donald Trump get credit for this?
No, because it was not a part of Operation Warp Speed. They used their own money.
Okay, so you're talking about Pfizer. So the word on the street was Moderna was the one that's going to be releasing the vaccine. And Moderna already has a $1.7 billion contract with the government to release the vaccine.
Yes, that was part of Operation Warp Speed. And Moderna is going to be used, since they've already contracted by Trump, to reduplicate and produce produce the vaccine. They weren't the actual developers and creators of it.
So, Biden planned that he would spend $25 billion on vaccine production and distribution, and calls for an eventual vaccine to be free for all Americans. So eventually it would be free, not initially. He also expressed skepticism over Trump's administration promises to provide a quick vaccine. Trump has said he will have a vaccine ready for distribution by the end of 2020. So you want, and we talked about this before, and Kevin has said it before, as soon as the election is over, a vaccine will mysteriously become available for people. And you want Black people to believe that this vaccine will help or save you, because it's been tested long enough to know that it's not going to counteract anything else different in your body, and be safe for the world. So are you taking this vaccine when it becomes available, Vincent?
I'll take the vaccine. So, I think that we, and I understand the trepidation, right? It is Black Americans, in particular, Black Americans' history with America, right? Not just history with America, but present with America, right? That we have no reason to trust America. Our history as Black Americans with the medical industry, right? And then we hearken to the, the history of the Tuskegee experiment, and
experimentation. Going all the way back to
experimentation. But the difference with all of those things is that there were folks who participate with knowledge now, right? So you get to say and transparency, like greater transparency. Is there 100% transparency? I don't know. My hope is that there is, but there's greater transparency than existed before. One of the things that we as Black Americans should and can do when we talk about the power of our vote, right, is to ensure that we have folks in political positions that have our best interests at heart, right? That are not receiving money from the pharmaceutical industry. So here's the funny thing. So these same Black Americans who want to say, hey, you know what, I don't trust government, are the same ones who just elected government, right? Did you understand what I'm saying, Diane? So if we understand that we're in the middle of a pandemic and we need some relief in terms of not dying or not contracting this and being the most vulnerable because of underlying conditions. So we had all that information prior to November 3rd. So we had an opportunity to say, well, who are the most trustworthy candidates out here so that we can elect you and then trust that you are going to be the watchdogs ensuring that as this vaccine is ushered in, that it's safe for us. Did we do that? That should have been our primary interest, right? I mean, along with political and economic power.
So Biden goes on to say that he plans on rejoining the WHO, and he plans to keep Fauci as a close advisor. He states that he will mend the U.S. relationship with the World Health Organization, rejoining them on day one in office, because, as you know, Trump pulled out over the summer. He says his plans immediately is to ask Dr. Fauci, the government's top infectious disease expert, to stay in his post as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, a job he has had since 1984. And just as a sidebar, Dr. Fauci's wife is also a scientist, and she works, I believe, and has a top position in the NIH. So that's that. The economy, he says he plans to reverse Trump's corporate tax cut. Biden has pledged that on day one, he will raise corporate income taxes to 28%, compared with the current 21% by the GOP-led tax cuts for 2017. Also, his promise falls under the Biden's larger proposed tax plan, which stresses that Americans making less than $400,000 will not pay more taxes. Not pay more taxes than who? That's the question. Not pay more than who? In regards to the environment, that will make the U.S. international leader on climate change. And one of the long-standing campaign promises, Biden heads into office planning to re-enter the U.S. immediately into the landmark Paris Accord of 2015 that Trump pulled us out of. Vincent Michipon. This month, after a mandatory one-year waiting period that started when the president formally notified the United Nations.
Which is a very good thing, because it increases the American standing on a world scale, going with people who are trusted, who have been in there. And yeah, I mean, Trump ran that little thing on Fire Fauci and all this other stuff. But part of Trump's thing was the same thing as in Adolf Hitler, was to discredit the press and then name himself dictator and rule the masses of people who followed him. So, getting back to the simple fact of saying that, no man knows everything. And saying the simple fact that I'm going to rely on the experts in their field because they know better than me, I think is a very good start. Also, the tax situation that you're looking at is just basically filling back money into the national coffer that was very much that is very much needed, and his tax plan gives a lot of relief, because there are more people in the country that make under $400,000 a year than there are who make over $400,000 a year. And a couple of percent may be, for some people, a struggle, but it's better for the whole rather than the one.
So I don't know, with regards to the corporate tax cut, how $400,000 tax freeze, if you want to call it, is going to help people, because he's saying he's not lowering the taxes. He's just saying he's dipping somewhere else to get the tax money.
Right. So he's not lowering the taxes on lower individuals. The other place of getting the tax money is the personal income of $400,000. The corporate income, raising that back up to where it was, I mean, is another way of getting that money back from another source. People who
raising the corporate income tax to 28% is only going to do is only going to force corporations to do what they've been doing in the past: move their
money.
Move their business out of.
That's absolutely correct.
Move them out of the States, because the majority. If you look, I pick up anything in your house made in China, made in China, made in China. You have some stuff made in Indonesia, some stuff made in Thailand, made in China, made in China. Stuff is not made here. So raising the corporate taxes is not going to help the country thrive.
Well, corporations. I'm sorry.
Because if you don't bring businesses back, people won't have jobs.
Well, the other thing is you have to look at this. Historically, corporations have been doing a mass exodus from the United States since the beginning. They leave the United States because they can find cheap labor in other countries and pay that level of taxes. So no matter what, those corporations are going to move. What we have to do is one, giving so much money to corporations because they've moved to other countries, to save money, yet they still have not spread that down, to the people who are buying their products. So, I mean, it's the same thing. And even in increasing their taxes, the only thing that they're going to do is raise their product rate by whatever ratio that they deem.
That's
what
it.
they're going to do. And so that's up to the American consumers to either buy or not buy. And that has a lot to do with their livelihood. But we're looking at, certain evils that have been acceptable and norms that have been acceptable that have been hurting us has to stop. That truly has to stop. The other way is that in the 1990s, when we were in an economic decline, the big thing that got America over were the small businesses. So in his plan, he's actually looking to increase the development of smaller businesses rather than reward corporations for doing absolutely nothing. So, I mean, that's a way of backfilling.
I still don't think raising taxes to a corporation is going to entice them to want to stay.
No, it's not.
They're going to be more focused on leaving. And when they leave the country of the United States to go other countries, it's not just because they get cheap labor. It's also because of the taxes and the overhead.
Yeah, and taxes and the overhead. But you look at let's do a factual analysis. Corporations, because of tax breaks. We've got corporations like Amazon who says that he paid zero taxes for a man who made lots of billions. And that has to stop. That has to stop. Will Amazon leave with a corporate tax rate? Some may, some won't. And like I said, there's going to be some companies that will leave, but not all of them will leave. Nor will it be enough that it's going to cripple the economy of America. Because keep in mind, these guys make their billions off of American dollars.
I think it's a wrong. I think it's a wrong approach. I think it's going to backfire.
Yeah, it's definitely going to backfire. The other thing he talks about in the first 100 days is racial equity. Extend the Voting Rights Act. Biden has pushed for the passage of the laws to strengthen the Voting Rights Act. Legislation to do so passed the U.S. House last year, but not the Senate. Biden advocated for extending the original 1965 legislation following the death of the civil rights icon. So the Voting Rights Act was signed into law on August 6, 1965, reinforcing voters' rights already granted by the U.S. Constitution. Section 2 of the Act, in particular, echoes the 15th Amendment by prohibiting states and their political subdivisions from denying anyone the right to vote based on race. But in 2013, in the decision shown as Shelby versus Holder, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a key provision of the law, deeming it unconstitutional. In response, Democrats in the House and the Senate introduced companion bills in February 2019, aiming to reinstate the invalidated portion of the law, stating that the new legislation received fresh attention after, of course, John Lewis's death. The original Voters' Rights Act was spurred by Bloody Sunday when in March 1965, Alabama state troopers attacked hundreds of voting rights marchers led by young Lewis as they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. So we are still fighting, and this is what I say, you keep putting in people and they keep doing the same thing over and over again. We should not be still fighting for the right to vote. It should be a done deal, that's it, point blank. But because this is not our America, we will continue to fight to have the right to vote. And we will continue to fight with people to tell us that we don't have the right to vote. But we keep voting for the same people to go back in office. So the other thing is immigration, comprehensive immigration changes. Biden has said on his first day of president.
I know. I just it's all.
No. First day as president. I'm looking at this and I'm going back to look at the voting rights because he didn't say when he was going to do this. He just said that he was going to work towards that when it came to voting rights. But when it came to immigration, he said first day of president as a president, he will produce comprehensive immigration legislation that creates a pathway to citizenship for 11 million migrants living in the U.S. illegally.
Well, you know why that's going to happen, right?
Because he needs to make sure he can guarantee his vote.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Now,
See, wait a minute.
There you go.
Wait a minute.
And increase his midterm.
Tell the truth and shame the devil. See, black people, because you didn't ask for anything, you didn't demand anything, there's no timeline on your stuff. Right? But
that's why I make that point. Yeah. So while you have, it would also provide a pathway to citizenship for people commonly known as dreamers, who are part of part of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Biden has additionally pledged to make the DACA program permanent on his first day in office, a move that comes after Trump's administration attempts to rescind the program. His first day plans to do this for immigration, but black people who have been here since what year, 1619, are still fighting to get voted.
Hey, Diane, Latin lives matter.
It's painted everywhere. It's painted everywhere.
Or Latin lives matter more.
Yeah.
Or Latin votes are what we're soliciting.
Told you. It should never have said Black Lives Matter. It should always have said Black Lives should matter, but they don't.
Or why don't you could you please let Black Lives Matter?
But
We're
they
still
don't.
Here.
So, I mean, we got 7 minutes. I'll give you one more for immigration to make you mad. Immigration in regards to stopping family separation at the U.S. and Mexican border. The president-elect has vowed to stop the practice of separating immigrant families trying to enter the U.S. from Mexico on day one as president.
Oh, boy.
Biden says, as he said, his plans to pass an executive order establishing a task force focused on reuniting children and parents separated at the border. So my question is, why can't you establish an executive order in regards to the voting rights?
I can answer that for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, now looking at the immigration that he's talking about is new, which would take an executive order. The voting rights for African Americans, it has already been drafted and is sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk.
That's your answer? That's why he can't executive order, because it's sitting on somebody's desk. That's every more reason to say, if you guys are blocking it and first day, I'm going to make it permanent, and we're going to deal with them. Have to deal with this.
Okay, and he can do that. But we also look at the last presidential election, is that executive orders can be erased by the next executive.
Right, but
Commander-in-Chief.
no, I got that. But in the meantime, you show some cojones, right? And you prioritize the group of people. So here we go already. He hasn't even been. There's been no inauguration, and we're already giving him a pass on putting black issues on the back burner.
That's right.
Right? We're already doing that. So instead of saying no, grow a set, right? Clyburn, say he owes you something. Right? Say this is what you owe us. Give it to us. Already putting black people, black issues on the back burner, and black folks accepting it, saying, well, gotta understand. But you know what? Yep, immigration reform. Yep, deal with the DACA. Yep. See, so we're already going to be indoctrinated into the fight for this.
Well, I think black voting rights is not on the back burner. It's already. It's already been passed. It's already been passed through the House. It's just sitting up there waiting on pushing out the Senate.
Oh.
So if you don't believe it, Vincent, maybe this will convince you that black people are on the back burner. Criminal justice, increased police reform. In response to the national outcry that erupted over the police killings of George Floyd and other black Americans, Biden said he will institute a national police oversight.
Here we go.
Listen. Within his first 100 days of taking office.
The dreaded oversight committee.
Day one. It's a larger plan to help overhaul policing, including investing $300 million in community policing measures across the U.S. and tasking the Justice Department with investigating possible issues of police and prosecutorial misconduct.
Okay,
so
and
a whole bunch of committees for us in the 100 days that he started.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm not liking the fact that it's, in the 100 days, but I'm okay with it being on the list. Second thing is that what he's talking about, his executive order just fills in the gaps of the motion that had passed the House and that they call the George Floyd Act. So, and that's another thing that has to get passed and done. And so, yeah, I mean, it is some posturing, it is some pandering, but and I gotta say this as well. It does show that he is looking to keep his promise.
Looking.
Yeah, that dreaded word, looking.
Working.
Looking.
Hey.
Off a hope and wishing a dream.
Hoping and wishing and hoping.
And praying. Yeah. Yes.
Well, once again, black people have been left behind.
Already.
Once again,
Already.
Jordan and the lollipop.
Already. It's already happened, people. Well, listen.
And I'll put it in the feed for other people to check out because I got it off the NPR. You can look at it and we could just discuss some more stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, but we'll be able to watch it, right? We'll see what issues get pushed to the forefront, what issues get pushed to the back burner. But we already know.
Which issues get passed, and we'll put up the Eric Dawson scoreboard.
Hey,
we are.
Listen.
We absolutely will.
Wait a minute. You want the score? I'll give you the score. Corporation White Supremacy undefeated. There's the score.
Well, I think the Corporation of White Supremacy right now is a little nervous because the score is about to change.
What?
No.
Come on.
Take those
hey. Off. Hey, on a cloudy day, I still got my rose-colored glasses.
Corporation White Supremacy never loses. They never lose.
And never loses. The house never loses.
Oh, the house is losing because so far it's Vincent going on a winning streak of day one, no yelling or fine.
Oh, there you go.
That's right. So there's day one for you. But there's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. Let's
get that lottery together. Everybody start putting your votes on which day I'm going to start getting fined.
And with that, there's always tomorrow, guys.
The Diane Show.
Let's
when are we going to...
Go ahead.
Stay focused, Vincent. You're starting to have outbursts.
There's
a condition for that, but you're not going to put
it's called Tourette.
Tourette. The Diane Show. Diane Show. Well, broadcast?
Yeah.
Oh, he wants you to plug your show, Diane. Diane?
Okay. And be sure to tune into What You Gotta Say with host Eric Dawson and guest the first African-American mayor of Philadelphia, Dr. W. Wilson Good Sr.
Now, last time we tried to, I tried to post a link. It didn't work.
Give them the same link that I sent you.
Okay, so at 3 o'clock, I'll post a link to it in my feed if you guys want to check it out.
It airs at 4.
It is at 4. All right, guys, listen, I'm out. We're all out. Stay safe. Don't go into East Ward or Newark.
Take your hazmat suit, your aerosol spray, your disinfectant, your hand sanitizer, your mask, goggles. Be safe, everybody.
See you tomorrow.